Welcome back to my video, everybody. Today is going to be a little different video. We will not be looking at our city today, but instead we will be focusing on my first ever mock. And for those of you who don't know what a mock is, it is a my own creation. So this is not a pre-built set. It is something you customize and build for yourself. And I just wanted to walk through with you how I was able to create this set and what the thought process I went through and how I plan to finish it.
So here's the behind the scenes of how I designed my Avengers Tower. And this is kind of the blueprint that I worked with. As you can see, these pieces can move, and I show that for a purpose. And this is kind of how I just sketched out what my base would look like. So as you can see here, I made a 32 by 32 base plate in green, which is what I was using for my project. And these are 8 by 8 grids. And this is just easier for me to kind of space out everything, make sure things are symmetrical and matching. And this is the top-down view. And so these squares represent one by one area, and then that's how I place it. So I started with a basic shape with curved glass pieces, and then 1 by 2 by 5, or maybe they're 6. Window trans blue pieces, and then just the wall piece. And that's how I created my general uh, outline for the first base. And then you see here I added random pillars here. I knew that the tower was gonna take a significant amount of weight, so I did want to create some sort of support. And you can see here with another layer on, I did add these cross beams. There are 1 by 10s by 1, and that would just go laterally. And basically, these grids here would show these pillars. So actually, without an update, there should be another 1 by 2 here. That way, this 6 piece here would all rest on this pillar. So all the weight of the tower will probably remain on these 4 pillars, as well as borrowing structural integrity from the sides. And this is how I came up with it. And then to kind of cap up the top of the first floor, just estimated different plate sizes. And this kind of gives me a visual interpretation of what kind of pieces I would need. I can mix and match, and then that way I can kind of plan around if I need to order pieces, if I need to change up the design so I can use more of the pieces that I already own. And so that's kind of the the reason rationale behind that. I'll take it to the side profile of this. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. And this kind of goes into the side profile of the Avengers Tower. So again, just trying to get a visual representation of what my tower might look like. If we zoom in a little details, I did get the dimensions from Bricklink and see what the pieces were. And again, these grids just really help you plan it out. And these 4 by 6s, you can't tell it's curved, but these are definitely curved pieces that I plan to use to give it more of a rounded feature up and down the tower. So this gives me a basic understanding of what my tower may look like. As you can see here, I do have 2 layers of studs, and you'll see in when we compare it to the real mock that I will eventually get rid of one of these. And it'll help a little bit with the cohesiveness of this angle here. And so that's why I did that. Here is the, so I guess it's this side, the profile, the front profile. So these are the 2 curves. And just basically, again, shape, also managing how many pieces I would need. And so, yeah, obviously, this is a good start, and I thought this was really nice. I know that different YouTubers and creators all over the internet have done numerous different iterations of this tower. Some people have just used the ones that have come out, like the old Avengers Tower set or the new one. Some have, bought 3 or 4 of those sets and created their own custom to create big ones, and some people went from like very basic. I did get a lot of my inspiration from Alex Nunes. He's a huge inspiration to Lego MOC, and his tower, his Lego city is absolutely insane. So I did get a lot of inspiration from him. And yeah, that's kind of how I did it. And as you can tell, this is probably you might notice that this is not the final product. And so I'll show you how this has evolved over the course of the time. So we move on here, and we see that it is no longer just one base plate, it is actually two. And I did not like the squareness of the tower. I felt like it did have a lot more of a rectangular base. Again, I just wanted a general shape. This is not at all an accurate representation of the tower, but it's just my interpretation of it. So I did add a little walkway in the front entrance where people can enter. These blue represent doors that I would eventually add in. And then the white were just 1x6 and 1x4 tiles that I had an excess of. And so that's what I used to tile up this area. I did not take into consideration any interior details, and that was intentional because that would obviously change as we just put it in, eyeball it in, and just see how things look. And the structure has slightly changed, and even within the actual build, it will actually differ from this too. But again, this is just for visual estimations. And then likewise, you just patch it up with plates and see how many plates I needed, types of plates to fill in those gaps. Here are some pieces that I had dragged, and then I kind of just overlaid on top. So now we move on to the final iteration that I came through. I personally think that this is way more representative of the Avengers Tower than this guy. And now that I look back, I'm kind of almost embarrassed at this, but we got to go with iterations. You won't ever really come up with a perfect design the first time around. You kind of get a sketch in, and then you start knocking out the details. And so this shows the angles here. I don't always like to build in such square, and I know Lego is very square oriented. It does have curves, but I don't like to play with just square buildings, square details. So I did add a bunch of slopes and angles to try to help with the harshness and make it look a little bit more building-like. This is the flight pad for the Avengers Tower, and so usually a Quinjet will land right here. And I believe this is the scene where Loki and Hulk fight in one of the movies, and then the party scenes as well. This A here is not Lego representative, actually. These were just random pieces I kind of threw based off MOCs and seeing different types of design. And this is just kind of an estimation and a placeholder that I do need to add an Avengers Tower and figure out how to make that A. And then yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I only have one floor here. I just thought it looked a little bit more pleasing to have a single line rather than to have double up. I just felt like it was too much gray, and it didn't really fit. I didn't really like it. So and then if we move on to the right, we do have a more advanced version. This one shows a gray exterior showing yet another curvature. And this is, I think this gives it a lot of character and a lot more dimension than we see on this left one. And the intent was to build it this way, but as I was building it, and as I was doing research on pieces, it was just starting to push it out of my budget, and also I think it just looked a little bit cleaner with just the plain gray. If down the line that changes, I'll have to rebuild it and rebuild this window section and add some more customization for that. But as we see in the next part of the video, you'll see that this is the design I'm going with. And even then, we will see some discrepancies and that it has changed. And so I just wanted to walk with you on what I did prior to even touching a single Lego brick.
So here's my Avengers Towers disassembled to its component pieces. And I just wanted to show you guys how that Excel sheet and how my plans have come into fruition. And let me start with the base here first. So yeah, if I take it to a top level, it is pretty close to what I designed in the Excel sheet. And I think that really helped me to visualize this and plan for it. Obviously, there's some design in like details in here that I just kind of added to fill in, like some TVs when you enter and some lounge couches. Actually, a lot of these components, except the plants, but the TVs and lounge chairs, are from the official Lego set for the Avengers Tower. And so I actually threw a suit in there and a half dome. And yeah, and so I wanted to put more detail in here, but for now, just wanted to uh, show the basic layout. Again, I threw in flowers just to give it a little bit of pop color. And as I mentioned before, I liked playing with the angles, right? So I liked not having always straight pieces, although straight pieces are completely okay. And then added a door. I was short on a door piece, so I used a window piece as a placeholder for now, but eventually I do either want to add a door or make this a sliding door in the future. And then a little pin pad for security. So it looks like it's a pretty solid build, and it came out pretty well. And just like I envisioned, there were some adaptations. Like I didn't take into consideration using these stubs as modulars, but that's something that I kind of came up on the way. Actually, I think one of these are stuck on the bottom of the tower. So let's move on next to the main portion of the building, which encompasses, I guess, 80% of the build. I think it came out pretty nice, and there are 6 floors as I designed, and then matched the slope to kind of cleanly merge into that top portion. I guess the biggest change is that this piece, the floors have only one stud high instead of two like my plans. That just made it aesthetically kind of unpleasing with such a thick border in between each floor, but also smoothed out these angles. Another thing that I completely forgot to do in the Excel sheet is I only took into consideration studs, but didn't take into consideration floors. So I didn't take account for these floor heights, and so that was a complication that I came in. So not a complication, but adjustment that I had to make. And in my local pick a brick walls at the Lego stores, they were having these dark blue tiles as well as these modified bricks on the wall. So I picked a couple cups of these, and I thought I'd just put them all over just to give it an extra dimension instead of just a flat top. It looks like it gives it a little bit of character and a little bit of cool architectural features. So I did create this lip here with the blue tiles so that it can blend in, but also I left one blank stud so that that wall can actually lean against these floors and then sit flush up there. And let me go into a little bit of detail of how I designed each floors. They're just temporary put-ins, and I definitely am going to fill it up a lot more, but just kind of want to walk with you. So the first floor is Tony Stark's lab, and this is the Hall of Armor set. This is not with the expansion. This is just the standard build, and kind of just split it up into two left and right walls. Tony's on his little pad, and then I do have a jetpack armor thing in the back. So I think this fills up Tony's lab pretty well. This was his building before, so it makes sense for him to have a giant laboratory. The second floor has nothing except this little reactor that came from the official Avengers Tower set. I don't have an idea exactly what I want to do here. It is a first floor to a second floor area, and I don't have the original Captain America minifigure, and so I do want to throw that in. If any of you guys have watched the Avengers movie, there is a scene where Captain America fights himself. I won't consider it a spoiler because the movie's been out for quite a long time. So if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry to have spoiled it for you. But yeah, I plan on adding the normal Captain America in there, the one with the blue and the shield, and that will kind of replicate that. I did add some greenery to kind of give it a little bit more, again, color and naturalness. But the first floor, I just threw this reactor in here. I'll probably most likely move this into the lobby as a display piece, and then change this to maybe like a cafeteria or like a lounge area. But I haven't really thought about what I want to throw in here. But I just threw that in here because I couldn't bear the fact that there was absolutely nothing in here. So yeah, so this is space. This is a sky bridge, so there are pieces. This is a hole, so that's a nice touch. Second part is a laboratory, again, taken from the official Lego Avengers Tower set that is filling in this area with a little bit more details. There's artillery wall, there's a little display piece with Hawkeye, and then pulling out the Infinity Stones. I believe that is the one from the Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like the puzzle ball and you can solve it like a Rubik's Cube and then pull out the Infinity Stones. So I believe that's the one here. And then the set also came with some nice sticker pieces that does give schematics and data about the Avengers Tower. So I thought that was a really cool thing. But again, I do want to end up tiling all this. I don't know if I want to go with the standard light gray tile, and maybe it will. But I do want to tile this up, add a bunch of lab assistants in here, and then make it a lot more science lab savvy. So I want to put a lot more technology in here, a lot of computers, desks, lab benches, and stuff. And then finally, it's the top. Again, this is kind of like a filler, like the arc reactor down below. But this is obviously Thanos' gauntlet. And the original set, I think, only comes with 2 Infinity Stones. But I do have other small sets that did include the other Infinity Stones. So I did add those Infinity Stones just to make it look basically powerful. And then this jail laser protection system is from the Avengers Lego Tower set. I believe it was meant to be a jail cell for the Red Skull. But for now, I just used it to protect the Infinity Gauntlet because we definitely don't want that out in the open. So yeah, that's the interior of the large portion in the middle. And then kind of going to the top, this is the flight deck. This is just the AIM soldier, and then Groot and Rocket out at the lobby. I didn't have any of these grip pieces in the dark blue gray color. So for now, I did just leave it as this, that green color. And so eventually I do want to match those colors, but just wanted to test out the railing. If you can see a little bit down past that, there is an open door lobby from the flight deck onto the office. If you remember, that is where Hulk destroys Loki in the famous puny god scene. And then I believe this is the party lounge area. So there's the Avengers logo that I kind of came up with. Took some inspiration from the official set, but that's kind of what I came up with for now. I do want to add like the arrow piece here at some point, but for now I think it looks really good. And then going to the top floor deck, I did account for 2 floors. They are tiled up, but eventually I do want to add, the bar here, maybe Captain America here, and then some stairs on either side. and create a little bit more of a scene. But for now, I just tiled it up just to clean up my work and just keep it tidy. And then finally is the roof piece, where I made it modular so I can pull these out so I can access that top floor. And yeah, and this again, this is blank, just filling in shape, but conceptually it is the same as the regular building. Just got some windows with clear blue windows, and then just like how the regular tower would be, it would just lean across, and then I did add some slope pieces to kind of ease with the line, so it's not just leaning, it looks a little bit more flush. And then just do some random antennas up here just to make it look cool. And yeah, so that's kind of how I came to create this MOC. I'm definitely going to be filling this up with all these sorts of details and hopefully lighting at some point. So that is going to be it for this video. If you really enjoyed that, or learned something, or if you guys have suggestions, please comment down below. I will be looking at those comments, and please give this video a like, and if you can subscribe for more content, that would really help me jumpstart this adventure of ours. So hopefully you guys like that. If you guys have any suggestions on how I can fill in these details interiorly, I would love to get some feedback, and so that I can incorporate it and bring this building up to its glory. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully I can see you sometime soon. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.